Thank you, gentlelady, for yielding back. Now recognize Ms. Kamick of Florida for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here today. One of the top unimplemented recommendations in the OIG's 2022 report was ACF and HHS should improve their operational management and communication systems to better address the safety and security needs of unaccompanied children. Has the ACF and HHS implemented this recommendation yet?
Thank you for your question, Representative Kamick. We are in receipt, we just got it yesterday, of ACF's response to our recommendations. I believe that's included in there. We're reviewing their response. We need to look at documentation. We consider it open until we have a chance to review it. But it looks like what they're providing, if they can substantiate it, we would clear that recommendation.
So no.
It's open right
So
now.
no.
It's open right now.
Okay, so I think collectively, all of us in this room, we find this failure, the no, the implementation of the recommendation frustrating. Not quite sure why something like this hasn't been implemented, but it's good to know that HHS acknowledges that this is a problem. Especially given the fact that ORR's Unaccompanied Minor Program has received record funding for the past couple of years. Your 2022 report on the top unimplemented challenges notes that ORR is working on a, quote, emergency policy development protocol that provides input from staff with expertise in child welfare whenever ORR develops and reevaluates existing policies and field guidance. Do you know when this protocol came into effect, and was this protocol in effect at Fort Bliss and other emergency intake sites?
I don't know whether it was in place at emergency intake sites, but it was something that we recommended. It's something that ACF agreed with. It's something that they are claiming that they have addressed, and we're reviewing documentation.
Would you provide feedback to the committee on getting an answer on this of whether or not it was or not, since you said you're not sure?
Well, we need to get their paperwork and review it, and we will get back to you on whether or not we're considering it closed.
Okay, so looking at the annual report, reading between the lines of the annual report, it appears that your office thinks that this protocol is inadequate. Can you explain why the protocol didn't close out the recommendation?
So throughout the course of our ORR work, we have found challenges with horizontal and lateral communication. By that I mean communication across other departments with DHS, with DOJ. We found problems with there being lateral communication within ORR, so that concerns that are raised by field specialists, for instance, are not being listened to by those higher up. So there are a number of things that ACF can do to address this, but it hasn't been addressed to our satisfaction. We find that this is a continuing issue across different administrations, where somebody in the field knows that census is going up. They don't have beds. They're concerned about mental health issues. They're raising concerns.
I understand.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm going to shift gears here because my time is running out. In the January 2023 HHS OIG report documenting how the NIH and EcoHealth Alliance failed to supervise the use of taxpayer funds at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Further, the Wuhan lab refused to provide lab notebooks and electronic files of a key experiment to EcoHealth. The NIH terminated the Wuhan Institute of Virology as a sub-grantee then at that point. The OIG report concluded that NIH should, quote, consider whether it is appropriate to refer WIV, Wuhan Institute of Virology, to HHS for debarment. The HHS OIG could refer the Wuhan Institute for debarment. That is correct.
That's what we're doing in the report. We're
Okay.
recommending that they consider whether or not they should be suspended or debarred. We do not have that authority. We make referrals over to the department I'll mention we have reports in this area about suspension
And
of
since,
debarment too.
and thank you for that quick answer. So then with that, has your office followed up to see if NIH will refer the Wuhan Institute of Virology to HHS for debarment?
Their response is not due until July on that report. It is my understanding that they are considering suspension debarment.
Okay, thank you. My time has expired, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Gentlelady yields back. Now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Crenshaw, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for being here. My big concern